The quench and quest of knowledge of the universe has always attracted man, and in doing so, people have landed into the universe becoming astronauts. Hello everyone, I am Kapila today reading a story of such an astronaut who was an Indian American, Kalpana Chawla. Before we read the chapter, we have the newspaper report. Let's look into the report. Tragedy in space, US Space Shuttle Columbia breaks into flames. So this is the headline of that newspaper report. Let's read what is there. In an unprecedented space tragedy, US Space Shuttle Columbia, carrying India-born American astronaut Kalpana Chawla and 6 others, broke apart in flames as it streaked over Texas towards its landing strip on Saturday, 1st February 2003, killing all 7 on board. So, the news tells us that something which we have not thought of that would be happening, that is an unprecedented thing which we don't know that would be going to happen, which we have never thought of. So that unprecedented tragedy happened, and in that tragedy the Space Shuttle Columbia burned into flames, and all the 7 people who were there on that space shuttle, they died, and it happened on 1st February 2003. The shuttle lost contact with NASA at about 9 a.m. 1930 hours IST as it came in for landing. It was flying at an altitude of over 200,000 feet and traveling at over 20,000 km per hour when ground control lost contact with the shuttle. So the speed was there, great speed, and altitude also was very much, and it's mentioned here 200,000 feet, that was the altitude, and that was the time when they lost contact with the ground staff. Columbia had lifted off on 16th January 2003 from the Kennedy Space Center, Florida. It had stayed in orbit for 16 days, and the 7-member crew conducted 80 experiments before it began its downward journey, which ended in tragedy. This was Columbia's 28th space flight, and the shuttle was said to be good for 100 flights. So it remained there in the space for 16 days, and it conducted 80 experiments there before it came down. But it all ended in a tragedy, and it was only the 28th flight, and it was said that the shuttle could take 100 flights. Now let's read about Kalpana Chawla. So this was the newspaper report of that day on which the space shuttle met with an accident, the unprecedented tragedy. Kalpana Chawla said that she never dreamed as a child in Karnal that she would cross the frontiers of space. It was enough that her parents allowed her to attend engineering college after she graduated from Tagore School. So the paragraph tells us that Kalpana Chawla was there in Karnal, and she had never thought that she would ever be crossing the boundaries of space. She would be entering into space. She never thought that. She was happy that the parents sent her to engineering college after she did the schooling from Tagore School. That was only satisfying her that much. She had never thought of space and all. After a Bachelor of Science degree in Aeronautical Engineering against great opposition from her father, she went for a master's degree to the United States of America. She later earned her PhD in Aerospace Engineering. Kalpana Chawla was the first Indian American woman astronaut to blast off from the launch pad at Cape Canaveral, Florida, and participate in a successful mission in space. Her family from India cheered along with staff at the Kennedy Space Center as they watched the Columbia lift off. So what happened was, when she was there in Karnal, she did her bachelor's degree, and that she did in aeronautical engineering, that is related to the aeroplanes and all. She did in that, and after that what she did was, she wanted to go to USA for her master's degree, and she had to do that with all the opposition of the father. The father didn't like that she should be doing that, or she should be going to US, but still she did that. The father opposed, she went there, and she was the first Indian American woman to successfully take up the mission there, which was from Cape Canaveral, Florida. And once the mission was successful, everybody in Karnal, the whole family and the relatives, they all cheered her. Kalpana was born in Karnal, Haryana, but was a naturalized US citizen. Naturalized is not by birth. She was not an American by birth, but yes, later on she was given the citizenship of America. So she became a naturalized US citizen. And why was she given that American citizenship? Let's read that. Married to flight instructor Jean Perry Harrison. Because she married an American, she was given that citizenship. So she was a naturalized US citizen. Besides being an astronaut, she was licensed to fly single and multi-engine land airplanes, single-engine seaplanes and gliders. She was also a certified flight instructor. So she was not only an astronaut, but what she was having the license of flying so many kinds of planes, which included seaplanes and gliders. Not only that, she was also given the license of being a flight instructor. That means she used to teach the other people also how to fly the planes. After qualifying as a pilot, Kalpana began to consider another challenge, applying to NASA's Space Shuttle program. So after she became a pilot, she achieved the zeniths there in the pilot thing. She also became a flight instructor. After that, she thought of doing something else. So she came to the space shuttle program. She was first hired as a research scientist at NASA. In 1994, she was selected by NASA for training as an astronaut. So it was not easy. The journey was very long, pretty long. So initially, she was just a research scientist there at NASA. And then slowly and gradually, she was selected for the astronaut training. And that was done in 1994. When asked what it was like being a woman in her field, she replied, "I really never ever thought, while pursuing my studies or doing anything else, that I was a woman or a person from a small city or a different country." So see, she never thought herself as inferior. It was only the dreams that she was chasing. She never thought that she was a woman from a very small town or a city from a different country and she wouldn't be able to do that. So she had that much confidence and that willpower in her to chase her dreams. That is what. "I pretty much had my dreams like anyone else and I followed them. And people who were around me, fortunately, always encouraged me and said, 'If that's what you want to do, carry on.'" So she was lucky that while she was chasing her dreams, the people who were around her, those people always used to tell her, "Okay, fine, if you want all this, you should go for it." They always encouraged her. So that is the reason why she determinedly walked on the path of achieving her dreams. So even we can do that. Do not feel yourself as inferior if you belong to a small city or any other country. Rather, just see the dreams and chase your dreams. And we all can do that, like Kalpana Chawla achieved her dreams and she achieved great success also. Kalpana's first space mission in the Space Shuttle Columbia was 15 days, 16 hours and 34 minutes long. During this time, she went around the Earth 252 times, traveling 10.45 million kilometers. The crew included a Japanese and a Ukrainian astronaut. The crew performed experiments such as pollinating plants to observe food growth in space and tests for making stronger metals and faster computer chips, all for a price tag of about $56 million. So all these experiments, they were conducted there. For how long did they be there in the space? It was 15 days, 16 hours and 34 minutes. That was the time duration spent by the crew there in the space, and during that they all took the journey for 252 kilometers. 252 times they circled the earth, and 10.45 million kilometers they had circled. And they performed various experiments for the growth of plants and for making stronger metals and faster computer chips, and all this was done at the amount of $56 million. Price tag is the amount of, what was the amount of money that was spent in doing all this? It was $56 million. On the Saturday night, when the news about the Columbia disaster broke, there was shock and disbelief. The town of Karnal spent a sleepless night as thousands of households stayed glued to their television sets in the hope that Kalpana and the crew had somehow survived. So that night, when that unprecedented tragedy occurred, that was the night when the people had a sleepless night there in Karnal. They were all sitting in front of the televisions. They were glued. They did not get up from there. They were sticking to one place only and watching the news there in the hope that the crew might be saved somehow. Something magical must have happened and nobody would have died. That was what they were feeling. They were thinking. They were imagining. A journalist wrote, "She was a heroine. It takes enormous ability to become an astronaut. You need to know a lot about everything, from biology to astrophysics to aeronautical engineering. In this age of super specialization, you must have encyclopedic knowledge to be an astronaut. Her achievement is awe-inspiring." So this was written for Kalpana Chawla by a journalist. And see, it's not enough that you have the knowledge of just one single subject. You need to have the encyclopedic knowledge. Encyclopedic is about all the subjects, and huge, immense amount of knowledge is there that you need to possess if you really want to be an astronaut. For millions of young Indians, the story of Kalpana Chawla, a girl from a small town who touched the skies, had become an inspiration. Obviously, a girl coming from such a small town there inspired the people, and millions of the people there, the children there, they got inspired to achieve their dreams. In a message that she sent from aboard the space shuttle Columbia to the students of a college in Chandigarh, Kalpana said, "The path from dreams to success does exist. May you have the vision to find it, the courage to get onto it. Wishing you a great journey." So this was the message that she gave to the students of her college back there in Chandigarh when she was there in the space shuttle. So from there she sent a message, and she hoped that all the children were able to find the path, and courageously they would be walking on that path which would lead them to their dreams and make them successful. Wishing you a great journey. There will surely be many who start off on this journey to fulfill their dreams. So this is the message that was given, and she was assured. She knew that there would be many people who would be walking on the path of achieving their dreams. Now let's do the question answers. Question 1. Where was Kalpana Chawla born? Why is she called an Indian American? Kalpana Chawla was born in Karnal, Haryana. She is called an Indian American because she married an American, that is Jean Perry Harrison. When and why did she go to the US? Who did she marry? After achieving her bachelor's degree in aeronautical engineering, she went to US for her post-graduation, and she also earned a PhD there. She married Jean Perry Harrison. Question 3. How did she become an astronaut? What gave her the idea that she could be an astronaut? After attaining the bachelor's degree and PhD there in US from aeronautical engineering, she became a pilot. Later, she joined the NASA as a research scientist, and then finally in 1994, she got selected to be trained as an astronaut. All the people around her encouraged her to achieve her dreams. Question 4. What abilities must an astronaut have according to the journalist? According to the journalist, an astronaut must have the knowledge from biology to astrophysics to aeronautical engineering, and in an era of super specialization, one need to have encyclopedic knowledge to be an astronaut. Describe Kalpana Chawla's first mission in space. First mission of Kalpana Chawla in space was of nearly 16 days, and the crew there took the rounds of the whole earth 252 times, and the kilometers that were covered by them was 10.45 million kilometers, and the crew had a Japanese and a Ukrainian member also. They conducted round about 80 experiments which were based on the growth of plants there and making stronger metals and faster computer chip. All this was done with a price tag of $56 million. Question 6. What does Kalpana Chawla say about pursuing a dream? And do you agree with her that success is possible? So Kalpana Chawla told the people there back in the college Chandigarh that the path from dreams to success does exist, and one needs to know the path and have the courage and vision to tread upon it, to walk upon it. Right? And definitely you would achieve it. I agree to it, and I think we all agree if we really work hard, courageously and walk on the path, we'll definitely achieve success. Now, the next exercise that is given here, read the newspaper report to find the following facts about Columbia's ill-fated voyage. This is really very simple, and I think if you read the newspaper report, you'll be easily able to fill in all these details which are asked over here. And still, if you're not able to get it, the next slide has the answers. Match the columns. Again, if you would like to do it on your own, it would be good. But still, if you don't get the answer, then you have it in the next slide. First, you try to match it, because I have already explained these phrases there in the chapter. The next exercise has phrases, and we have to find out the meanings of these phrases. I would suggest that you look up to a dictionary for the meaning of these phrases and then try to make sentences using these phrases. If you do not get the answer, then the next slide has the meanings of these phrases, and one example has been done for you. I have made one sentence. Similarly, you should be using all these phrases and then making sentences. The next exercise is on opposites or antonyms. So how you have to make the antonyms? They have instructed us by adding un. That is the prefix that you have to add. Okay. So by adding this prefix to the words given below, we can make the opposites or the antonyms. Like if it is identified, the opposite would be unidentified. Similarly, you have to add un prefix to all the other words, and you'll get the opposites of it. If still you are having any doubt, look to the next slide. You will get all the answers there. Now, the next question deals with a bit of writing, and this is your homework. You are going to write a paragraph on any dream that you have seen and you want to achieve that dream. Like Kalpana Chawla had a dream and she achieved success. Similarly, you also have to explain about your dream, what dream you've seen for your future, and what you would be doing to achieve that dream. The next exercise here deals with the spellings. We have British spellings and we have American spellings. Okay, so that has been given over here, and I would do one for you. The rest you try to do. If you don't get the answer, you have it here in the slide. Color. The British spelling is COLOUR and the American spelling is COLOR. Similarly, the other spellings also go on. You can have a look at the slide and get the right answers. I shall meet with you with some more inspiring stories crossing the frontiers of space. Till then, take care.